Cinecast, episode 28.
What's going on, Internet? I'm Christopher Peterson, and you're listening to the Nerd EXP Cinecast. This week I'm hanging out with Drew.
What's up, guys?
Edgar.
Not on Skype. Drew, let me talk, man. I'm not on Skype.
It started.
And Guillermo.
I am always here.
If this is your first time, you're in for a treat. If you're coming back, thanks. What do we do here? We go through this week's-ish top entertainment headlines and help you level up your movie IQ. Jumping into our movie news, we're going to kick it off to Edgar.
So, there's this new Suicide Squad movie. It's come out in 2016. It's about these Batman villains that are given impossible tasks, and they're making a movie out of it. So it's the Suicide Squad. The reason I bring it up is we finally get a look at Jared Leto's Joker. Now, Jared Leto is now an Academy Award-winning actor, and hey, Joker has been played by Academy Award winners every single time, right? Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger
and now
wasn't
Jared
an Academy
Leto.
Award winner yet.
Well, he won for his role as the Joker, so this is pretty cool. The picture is really, it's really edgy. The Joker has tattoos. He has a grill, and he has his signature.
Grill.
He has his signature green hair. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the Joker? The new Joker?
I don't.
No?
I think as far as art direction, I'm okay with it. I guess so from that I shouldn't start judging it. To me, this just screams, hey, we're doing something different and crazy and wacky, and it's extreme. This isn't your parents' Joker, kid. He's out there. He's edgy. You've never seen a Joker like this.
So you didn't like it?
I didn't like it for that character. I think that, if it was anything else, I'd be like, okay. I mean, this guy does look crazy. So I guess within that, keeping with the theme, he does look like a crazy punkhead suicidal maniac.
Yeah.
Which if that's the take they want for Joker, then so be it. And they shouldn't necessarily pigeonhole themselves with, 90 years of comic history to go off of for creating a character.
Yeah, he looks like he would be in a concert at 1990s Seattle.
Juggalo concert?
That would be a great album cover. This
Yeah.
looks like a great album cover.
Yeah, for the listeners, we're looking at the photo right
The
now.
album is titled Damaged.
No, I mean, he would be at a Nirvana concert in 1994.
Yeah, he looks like a cosplayer almost, with an interesting twist on the Joker. I just can't see the character getting tattoos, which is kind of strange, but I agree with Chris. I mean, it's good for them to do something different.
So, Drew, you liked it?
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I don't want to say I like it.
What do you got it?
I like it. I mean, no harm, no foul for me. It looks good.
This is the first set of news. I'm usually very critical of DC and their direction.
There's a lot of color in this one, Memo.
I was completely happy.
Green, purple.
I was really, I liked it. I really did like it. I liked the approach they took because this isn't the approach that anyone has ever taken. And, might as well do it now where they're doing everything else, so might as well do something different. He looks scary. If this person came out of you and, came out in the dark to you, you would freak. So they got that going. It does not look like Jared Leto to me. So that's a great transformation for the character. I think, I guess, my theory is with all the tattoos, we may not see all those tattoos. I think this is the perfect instance where we're going to see, we're in the joke with the Joker, where he probably, there's going to be some one-liner in the movie where they're going to say, yeah, he even drew his own tattoos with the Sharpie we left him or something. So I think every single one of those tattoos is a fake one. That's just what I'm thinking. A lot of, they look very homemade. They look like
himself?
I think that he did it himself. It looks very
impossible.
homemade. Why?
Look at how close that is. You can't even see your chest up that high.
Yeah,
Somebody he
Mayor's
did
true.
those cards on his shoulder? I don't think so.
It looks very primitive. It looks very prison tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, that's the deal. They're all prisoners, right? In the
Right,
movies,
in,
so.
Yeah.
in Arkham. They're all in Arkham.
I'll agree with you, but I love the idea of 4 white-collared guys with no tattoos looking at a picture going, that looks like a prison tat. I want my hard time with the yard.
I don't. What he said about him being scary, I've never known the Joker to be scary necessarily. Not like make you jump scary. He's supposed to be kind of like chilling.
He's a clown.
Once you get to
the
know
dude
him.
is supposed to be a clown. Like, that was the
Not a
take of
scary
DC. It was like, that was the take on the clowns phobia people. You know?
I
So,
think he's supposed to be more eccentric. He might be too crazy here.
I think that this is an evolution of Heath Ledger's Joker. I think this is an evolution of Dark Knight.
No scars though.
But I'm just saying, like how maniacal and villainous and deranged that Joker was. That even that, quite frankly, was a new take on the character. Because I mean, in the comics or the animated series or the Tim Burton, he is laughing and in your face and loud.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know, a more street level.
And
subtle.
everyone was critical of the first image shown of Heath Ledger. So I mean, we've been blown away before.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto's a great actor.
I think so. I mean, so definitely has the good backing behind it.
You want to see how I got my tattoos?
Yeah, because Joker's normally in a suit, isn't he?
This is the first time that we've seen him without not being in a suit, which was the big... I mean, the only trace of purple that we see is this random...
He's probably in a bathing suit.
surgical
like a
glove, yeah.
60s Batman or something.
So, pretty interesting. He's doing, he's doing the typical Joker pose that we've seen before in comic book covers. So, it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. I mean, this is the first time that we've seen, I guess in film, him without his shirt off, without a suit of some sort. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
Prison changes a man.
That's right. This is a good thing for this movie. I guess we'll see. The 5 minutes that he'll be on screen, and I guess we'll make some judgment out of it.
You think so? Like, you don't think he's the adversary? Unless they've already said this, I thought he was in the mission. Like, that the Suicide Squad was going after
The Joker?
The Joker. Like, the Joker went too far. And so, they need to,
really?
rein... That's my hypothesis.
Oh,
There has been no synopsis of the.
But the whole time they've
Of what
actually
it
been
is.
working for the Joker.
That would be freaking epic.
I think it's supposed to be Lex Luthor, who has like a very small role, rumored. But
Well,
we don't talk about rumors here.
There's going to be everybody in there.
Like that.
I mean,
we try not to talk about
We
it.
know that Bruce Wayne is going to be in this.
I didn't know that.
Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. Yep.
I actually didn't know that either.
So he survives? He survives Batman vs. Superman?
He wasn't in
We
the
don't
show!
know. We don't know. This is before. This is before Batman vs Superman.
Oops.
So the movie that comes out afterwards.
You guys
it's
muted
gonna-
him.
Sorry.
So that's exactly it. This is like whatever happens in this movie. If this person, like a Joker shows up in Batman vs Superman, then we know he's going to survive this movie.
Okay.
It's just interesting timeline that they set up. So
Maybe it was him that put false god on that Superman statue.
maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Continuing with the Batman thread, Frank Miller, who I've read some of his work,
Sin City.
Sorry, yeah, I was thinking of Sin City in 300. He is going to finish the Dark Knight Returns trilogy.
Just the Dark Knight.
Just the Dark Knight. It's Dark Knight Returns.
It's Dark Knight Returns.
So
I mean, maybe the trilogy is the Dark Knight.
well,
trilogy.
it's the third. It's the third.
he's got
It's the
Strikes
third
Back.
comic
What's
book.
the second one?
Strikes Back.
Strikes Back.
Dark Knight Strikes Back
Yeah.
for
Yes.
real?
And then the last one is
Yes.
the Dark Knight
The
Master
Master Race. Yeah, it's so this I'm
Nazi.
sure is going to be greenlit as a movie immediately as it's published. So that's interesting. I know we don't talk about comics that much anymore. But this is nice to see him going back to Dark Knight.
This set of news. So this is one comic book or collection that I read recently within the past year. I read The Dark Knight Returns. I'm reading right now Dark Knight Strikes Again. So I'm interested that they did, he's pursuing it, he's going back. He's regarded as one of the better storytellers of Batman. He's taking, he's the new Batman vs. Superman is heavily influenced on his work. A lot of the Batmans before have been influenced heavily by his work. So it should be interesting to see what he does now.
Sure.
Both of these comic books were written early on. I think
90s, right?
Yep, they were definitely 90s. I think Strikes might have been like late 90s, but so they've been around for a while. So this is a lot of people that are now 30 plus years old. This is what they were reading when they were teenagers, and they're finally getting to it. So pretty interesting, pretty good, and I recommend everyone of our listeners and you guys to read the comic book before you see the travesty that Batman vs. Superman is going to be. Because
have you seen the DC animated movie ones?
Yes.
Are they good?
It is fantastic.
All right.
The DC animated movie for Dark Knight Returns, outstanding. I mean, it's the. I think I talked about it in one of our podcasts already. Yeah. That it's like a 10-minute version of every frame of the comic book. So it's fantastic. Really excited for this. I know a lot of comic book readers are really excited for it. So we'll see how it goes.
I think that Frank Miller has lost himself, just for the most part. In the sense that The Dark Knight Returns, great comic book. Batman Year One, great comic book. Flash forward to 2001, Dark Knight Strikes Again. I personally haven't read it. Not anywhere near as well respected or revered or thought of as the original.
It's ignored, yeah.
Exactly. It's practically ignored completely.
Is it Frank Miller as well?
Yes.
Yes.
And then Frank Miller did a run called All-Star Batman and Robin. I read that first issue. That first issue was amazing. I thought it was one of the best comics I ever read. Every other issue afterwards fell really fast and really hard. It was just like, Batman was just like a crazy person. Which is an interesting take. But,
sounds like the damage that he did to Sin City.
Kind of. I mean,
that's exactly it.
Or the Spirit.
Or Disparity.
It was Batman. It was Batman / Sin City. The way like the cops were all like super corrupted, and just the characters, and just the amount of like sex and drugs and everything in there. And like Guillermo and Eddie said, like Batman v Superman. Seeing Batman in that suit is a direct reference to The Dark Knight Returns.
Not just the suit, and I'm sure we'll get to it. I mean, the scene where he's on top of the building holding the rifle. Like
he holds a rifle? I thought, what?
That's in the trailer, man. How many times have you seen this?
The rifle's hard to see, though, because it's on the opposite side of Batman himself. Like,
yes, he's definitely holding the rifle.
On the other side of it.
Yeah. I didn't know he had a rifle. It just looked like he was on the top of the tower.
Well, let's bring it in now. So So the trailer for Zack Snyder, this was a trailer that was set up to be released on a Monday. This big IMAX event, and then somebody leaked the trailer online via some kind of cell phone recording.
In Portuguese, by the way.
Was it in Portuguese?
Yeah, I watched it.
I waited for the real one.
Me too. I did.
I watched the cell phone version just because I wanted to see if it was going to live up to, I guess, change my mind. And then I stopped it because, 10 seconds into it, I was already very disappointed. Oh, so I was like, what? I'll wait for the next one.
They were just flashing lights. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I watched it up to the point of the statue.
Oh.
All right, so what's everybody's thoughts on the trailer? Did you like it? Did you not? Let's start with that, Drew.
I thought it was all right. I mean, it's really nothing. It doesn't tell me anything, and maybe too much. I mean, it's Zack Snyder, so I'm not even excited, to be honest.
What?
So, I think it'll be better than Man of Steel. Maybe a lot better. Hopefully not too many characters and all that, but obviously the trailer, it's going for the dark and gritty fans.
What about you, Chris?
Batman's a villain in that trailer. Like, I don't know what he is in the movie, but I mean, that is not a, like, equal sides to situation. That trailer, and the timing, the voiceover, when you see the character, I mean, you know, that looks like Batman is the bad guy.
All right, then what did you think? Liked it or not liked it?
I loved it. Because I love Watchmen, and this is very Watchmen-esque.
Yeah.
Like with Superman, like flying, and then one dude like reaching out to Superman, his cape is all wavy. Like that's awesome.
The trailer could have used some Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes, absolutely. And then just at the very end where Batman's voice is all like RoboCopped. It's like
Because of the suit.
Yeah, he
cool.
sounds like a Transformer. I actually didn't like that.
That was cool.
But I guess it's okay because he's in a metal suit at that point.
But his mouth isn't his mouth isn't in the suit. It's not like he's Iron Man. Iron Man talks normal. Anyway, what were we gonna say, Chris?
I was just going to agree that I think it's while he's in this robot suit, he gets a robot voice.
I hope so. Let's hope so. If this is the Batman voice, they went the wrong way.
Didn't sound like Ben Affleck at all to me.
No. I'll give you guys my take on this trailer. Did not change my opinion for the better or for the worse on this movie. I thought it was an okay trailer, but let me put it into perspective. This trailer has been watched more times than the Star Wars trailer.
No, it hasn't.
Right now. Yes, it has.
Has it?
On
Yes.
YouTube.
In Jacksonville,
On
Florida?
YouTube, right. I mean, this is what we got to
YouTube.
compare.
Really? Because when I saw him, it was like, I can't remember. I thought it was like 17 million Batman v Superman. Like 36
I read the news story this morning.
36 million Star Wars. Like
This
Star
morning
Wars
I
was
read it.
double.
Yeah, that was
Like
me.
the standings right now is Batman vs Superman, and they might reset them on weekly views or whatnot. But Batman
That was me.
v
I
Superman,
watched it like a million times.
It's competing enough to with Star Wars.
I refuse to believe it.
Again, going into this, having the Dark Knight Returns fresh in my mind, there were definitely a lot of elements, and opposing to Chris's perspective that Batman was the bad guy. I thought Superman was a bad guy here. I mean, I don't think they...
Yeah, what the heck did he
I mean,
do?
we saw a whole movie of Superman saving the world, and all we see here is people hating on Superman.
They both came off as villains. Like, Superman comes off in the trailer as a villain to the people.
Get off my planet.
And Batman comes off as a villain to Superman. So they're kind of both villains.
And yeah, I heard Lex Luthor in there.
Lex
Yeah,
Luthor
like
is
Jesse
in there.
Eisenberg.
Alfred's in there.
What the...
Holly Hunter.
not Holly Hunter.
Holly Pocket.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt's not in this movie.
I thought it's not Holly Hunter.
It is.
It's Helen Hunt.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter? Okay.
Is it Holly Hunter?
I thought it was Helen Hunt.
Who?
Who's Holly Hunter?
Nobody knows what her character is. Holly Hunter, she's got like a really southern accent, though. I don't think it was her.
She's in
Oh, I'll
Incredibles.
tell you who
She's
she
Incredibles.
is.
She's in Incredibles. She is Elastigirl.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
right?
it's
Is
Helen
that
Hunt.
Holly Hunter?
Holly Hunter is
Not
incredible.
Helen Hunt.
She young?
Helen Hunt, I think, is in Batman vs.
Helen Hunt is in Castaway with Tom Hanks. Are you sure that's her?
Yeah, the blonde one.
No.
Helen Hunt.
Anyway,
sorry.
Voiced along with Jesse Eisenberg.
Sorry, guys.
One of the HH
So going back, I mean, there's definitely a lot of elements from the comic book. I pointed out there's one key scene in the comic book where Batman is on top of a building holding a rifle.
Why? That's so
Because
random.
he's Batman. That's the thing.
But he doesn't shoot guns.
Why not?
He doesn't
is a
shoot
detective.
people. It doesn't mean he doesn't shoot
backing up a
guns.
second. And there are multiple sites, but the official Star Wars is at 47 million.
Okay,
Batman v Superman's at 32.
Ooh.
Suck it, Batman.
that's right.
That's still 32 is still ridiculously high.
Yeah.
I feel I don't know what the numbers are without searching. And obviously, there's multiple iterations, and maybe this site was counting their own personal site, like VA's maybe got higher up.
Yeah.
But official trailer, Superman
Star Wars
still-
had 88 million day one.
Right.
So,
That's
that's World Wide Web, not just YouTube. No.
right. They were counting everything. Yeah.
So what does he have the rifle for?
Because, I mean, that's one of the things that I liked so much about Frank Miller's take on Batman. He humanizes Batman. I mean, Batman has no superpowers. All he has is the smarts. He is the ultimate detective.
Yeah.
So that's what
Detective
he
Comics.
does. That's what he does. So just like any detective, he's gonna have a gun. Yes, I mean that's why he builds the suit that he ends up that's what we see, why Batman has gadgets, because he has no superpowers.
There are turrets on the Batmobile.
On this one, one of the part of the storyline is Batman is coming back from
retirement,
pretty
his
much.
8-year
so
hiatus.
He doesn't have the super Batman gun. He has a rifle that he hunts with. And there's a specific purpose for this rifle in this particular scene in the comic books, which I will not spoil because that's a very awesome part in the comic book.
Does he shoot kryptonite bullets?
Read the comic book. So that's one key scene. Definitely the robot. It's another key scene. I'm glad. So out of Comic-Con last year, that was the tease that they showed was exactly that stare down.
I remember that.
Superman up in the sky looking, with the red eyes, looking down at Batman in the Batman suit, looking at him. And he did the exact same line, "Do you bleed?" And then, "Do you bleed?" Right, in a very robotic voice.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
So that's what we'll get to see. Overall, I guess we'll find out.
All right, so moving on from Batman, Furious 7 has crossed $1 billion of overseas and domestic.
Just overseas.
Just overseas? Oh, okay. But that's still a lot of money.
And obviously worldwide.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge hit. Like, it's Avengers type money. It's like Avatar type money. So that's something that's really cool. I mean, because this movie was the little movie that could. No one wanted this movie, but then they did it.
So right this second, or a couple hours ago when I looked it up, I think it's sitting at like 1.2
billion.
No, it's got to be over 300 in the US.
1.3, sorry.
Yes.
1.3.
1.35.
It's still in
probably.
Theaters.
Only been out, 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's probably going to be the third highest grossing film
Ever.
Furious 7.
Damn.
It's number 3 right now for overseas gross. It's only the third movie in history to make over $1 billion outside of the United
domestic,
States.
it's still sitting at a cozy 36. So it still has a long way to climb to be anything significant domestically. But I agree. This is a movie that at the most maybe budget of $200 million, maybe like with marketing and everything.
For Paul Walker.
I mean,
those guys get paid a lot. Like I have no idea what they get paid, but I remember the year Fast 6 came out. They were Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. That was the only movie they did, and they were still listed as one of the top 10 highest paid actors.
Damn.
maybe 20 million.
Dwayne Johnson got
But
more
the
than
thing
all
is,
of them, and he was in it for 10 minutes.
the reason they make so much money, the Paul Walkers and the Vin Diesels, is because they're
They get
also producer credit. So they get part of the money that comes in. So they get their 20 mil for acting in it, and they also get their cut based on the movie profits, which have been very successful. I think it deserves it. This is one of the strongest franchises that Universal has ever put together.
Yeah.
And this is number 7. I mean, like, nothing that I can think of has had 7 successful movies. And movies that
Harry
I say
Potter
successful,
is the only one.
but original.
Yeah.
Let me correct that. That, it's just people thinking, like, let's do this next. And I mean, we talked about in the last episode how great we thought this movie was, so deserves it. Surprising, though. That's the one thing. It's very surprising to see.
I mean, the overseas box office has been going up for just about every movie over the past 2 years. It doesn't surprise me at all, to be honest.
I mean,
Avengers
think about
is going to blow it out of the water.
I was just going to ask that. Do you think it's possible it does better than Avengers?
Avengers?
No.
Avengers has already made $200 million in one weekend.
Where?
Overseas. Released overseas.
Yeah,
Europe. This past weekend.
Really?
Europe's already got it.
How did they get it
200 million.
first?
Because it's easier to bootleg from the U.S.
Oh, really?
to... That's my theory.
I don't know, but a lot of movies seem to do that.
It's a thing now.
Boo.
Marvel's been doing it ever since, I think, Iron Man 2 or something.
It might have to do
really?
with the way they release the movie with like the actors. So they go on this world tour, and they go do the premiere in London first, and then LA, and then New York. Like that's their thing.
And I think it doesn't even include China.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Well, China gets it this weekend along with us. So it's going to be.
I read it opened in South Korea as the second highest grossing release in South Korea
Ever?
in history. Yeah,
What was the first one?
because I believe, and they said that they filmed some of the movie in South Korea, which is probably why.
Yeah.
No, it's not on the agenda. Did you guys see what Chris Evans and Jeremy Renner did in Britain?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
So they were talking about Black Widow.
Oh,
Scarlett
okay, that
Johansson.
stuff, okay.
They were talking about Black Widow. They were talking about how she seems to have a different love interest in every movie. We can argue if she's actually had a love interest in any of the movies. And then they said that Chris Evans and Jeremy Renner said she's a slut and she's a whore.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man.
Publicly?
Yes, like it was an interview
in that
for
interview.
some British TV.
And then they laughed and they're like, and then they talked about other stuff.
Yeah.
Later, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but Chris Evans said something along the lines of, I'm really sorry, that was inappropriate, I respect the franchise, I respect the character, I respect the fans, this shouldn't have happened. Jeremy Renner apologized, I'm sorry you got upset about me talking about a fictional character.
Oh, nice.
Jeremy Renner, you're being replaced.
Yeah. We'll see if he needs to be replaced.
Like Don Cheadle.
Disney's obsessed with women right now.
Yes.
Guillermo can attest to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that later.
Regardless of, and I know they said they were tired and they've been on the circuit and they were exhausted and they made a poor judgment. Like, how the fuck does this happen?
Yeah.
I could have sworn they had PR people like with giant red buttons sitting over in the corner like doing these
They got
interviews.
shock collars on.
like stopping them and like these guys are trained and have been around for. This isn't their first rodeo. Like
They had
this is.
But I think
drinks,
that counts against them. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done it, so like the PR people are like, "Oh, these guys know what to do," and they let them lose. I mean, we had the reporter asking Robert Downey Jr. someone comfortable questions for him, and he walks out of an interview. So that's one, and then now this is the second incident, really.
I'm okay with Robert Downey Jr. leaving because they.
He did. He absolutely.
They asked about his like alcoholism problem, which was I don't even know how long ago now, 20 years.
It was in the 90s.
So I mean, like I don't know. I mean, are you really beholden to your sins?
Yeah,
for-
plus you're promoting Avengers, a family-oriented movie.
Yeah,
Why
what do you
would
get out of
Why
it?
would you bring it? I mean, I would understand if the dude was like going for an Oscar-nominated role, where he's
Where he's portraying like an alcoholic.
Well, I mean, like it was without no context, really that question. So props to him for still, even at that level, just saying, "Well, forget this," walking out. The Jeremy Renner deal. I get it. These are guys that are now so comfortable, and I'm sure they talk about that. And they, disappointing, but it happens. I forgive them. I don't see a big deal.
Yeah.
This is the actor speaking. This is not Captain America.
Yeah,
and
it's not
Hawkeye
Hawkeye.
talking. So they're human.
I know if we were sitting around talking with them, we wouldn't have a second thought about a joke like that. It's just because they did it in a public forum.
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like we've gotten to too much of a point, and maybe I'm like on the other end of the spectrum now. We've gotten too much of a point of like slut shaming and like being like anti women and just like letting it go and just being so quick. And I just feel like this is indicative of that problem and continuing to be so. Which I mean, like, and I know.
Well,
like,
I think it's a problem just for the fact that we make it a problem. Like, if you just brush it off as quick as we just did, like, it's done, it's over, it's not a problem. That the main reason it is a problem is because it gets more coverage than the movie itself. Like, it's not a big deal. It was not a big deal. There was two guys. Like, I'm sure guys have been called worse throughout history by women, and it's been okay. Like, that doesn't get publicity. So it becomes to like, how big is your audience, and the news, that's their business, to sell news. So this is how they sell news, to making something that's, I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm definitely, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely pro-equality and everything. I mean, at this point, the way I see it is, there shouldn't be a discussion at all. Like, this is just another comment. And the reason, that we still stumble upon it, that's the bad part. So,
You have anything to say?
I already did.
Anything extra?
something that I just wanted to touch on. I mean, we're thinking, Furious 7 passes. It's the third highest grossing movie of all time in the world. And then right above it is one director, James Cameron, with Titanic and Avatar.
I don't think it'll get that high. 5 at the best.
You think it's done? It's Nitro.
It's
lost
done
all
in the
steam.
United States.
I'll agree with that.
And I'm pretty sure it's open in every major market overseas already.
What, Sphere 7?
Yeah.
Well,
I think, it's
I mean, think about this,
number
though.
10.
Think about this.
It's not going to get up to
Furious
it's not gonna
8.
get up to number 3.
Furious 8 is already announced. It has a release date. Building up on that, I mean, that's going to be crazy money. What about, so today they released too that James Cameron has scripts for 5 or 4 more Avatar movies. He's got like 4 more scripts for Avatar.
There's only one Avatar movie so far.
And he's already got
according
scripts.
to the oh shit.
He's got scripts.
Well, I said 5 at the best. It's already 20 million away from 4. Ooh. So 4 at the best.
It is insane how much money it's going to make. But this sets it up. And I mean, we had conversations earlier, in regards to this. We are consuming movies big time. I mean, that is the reason we're getting all these big releases for the next 5-6 years we are consuming movies and entertainment.
We got and
tons.
I was saying this to Guillermo earlier. We got at least 4 more billion-dollar movies this year. This year alone. I got Avengers, Hunger Games, James Bond, Star Wars.
Yeah.
No way.
You don't think
they
Jurassic
have
World is going to get $1 billion?
I think James Bond is the odds.
Skyfall broke $1 billion.
Worldwide, yes.
This one has to suck to not make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well, Skyfall sucks, so...
That's your opinion.
I agree.
It made $1 billion.
I agree
whether
with
you
not
like it or
sucking.
not.
What about Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible could be another
I don't
one.
think so.
What about what was it?
But-
any other
but,
Pixar
you know,
movies? No.
The
Inside
fact that
Out, we get an
they did
animated
a lot of
movie.
overseas filming for Mission Impossible is going to help that.
Inside Out, animated movie. You're ruling that out.
Maybe. I mean, Toy Story 4 made over $1 billion, but that's the only animated
Story
movie to
3.
do. Well, Frozen as well.
I'm looking at the numbers. I don't know these off the top of my head. Jurassic Park made $1 billion, but its sequels didn't. So I don't know.
Right.
If Jurassic
And that's
World-
with multiple releases, too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to
initial
happen.
release.
I don't think Jurassic World takes it.
Jurassic World looks... I think it looks bad. The
Yes.
latest trailer was worse than the first 2.
Yep.
I'm not
They still
excited
haven't
for it
fixed the
at all.
CGI, which I thought was primitive CGI. That's sad. That's sad. Hopefully that this is going to be the surprise, and Chris Pratt becomes the the under guy who saves everything.
I think by, 2020, if your movie doesn't make $1 billion, it's a bomb.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible the pace that we're going. So going in through that, like the whole $1 billion ideas, we have the Disney at the it was at CinemaCon in Vegas had their conference where they released here's our plans for movies all the way through 2019, and some interesting things that I definitely was not aware of. One, I did not know DreamWorks was now under the Disney umbrella.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't look into this, but I don't think they own them. They probably made a contract.
They
with
are
them.
probably
like
producing-
DreamWorks had a contract with Paramount. Everything they released was Paramount for so many years.
Like Shrek?
Shrek's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't think they're owned by Disney. And I mean, there's only one up there, right? Two of them.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell and Bridge of Spies.
So if you guys want to see what we're looking at, visit our Facebook page, and we have the release schedule up on there, so you guys can, so you the listeners can see what we're talking about.
I mean, you look at this list. What is the one that you are the most excited about? I mean, let's
Just one?
bring it in.
Do you
Just
have to
one.
ask me?
I mean, I think you don't have to ask me.
I think
but
Pirates of the Caribbean movie I'm super excited for. I can't even say it with a straight
the
face.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
That was the biggest surprise to me in this whole entire release is how far out this Pirates of the Caribbean
Johnny
movie is
Depp
out.
will be like super old by
There's
then.
going to be 3 Star Wars movies out before the next Pirates of the Caribbean.
Which is already filming.
Oh no!
That's crazy.
That to me, it's insanely crazy, and we might see.
So obviously, for me, Force Awakens.
I think for me, The Force Awakens is there, but the fact that I know The Force Awakens is coming, I want to see that Rogue One movie. I am very, 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 very. The Disney or the Star Wars anthology movies, I'm very excited to see which way they go.
And they've really committed. That's actually on the logo. It's really, like, you have to zoom in, but, like, it says Star Wars Anthology.
Oh, yeah.
Rogue One. So
we'll talk about that later on. But that's just something, like Edgar said, go ahead and visit our Facebook page, look at it, leave our comments. It's definitely, Disney has that. Universal has that, Fox has that, all the major studios have a graphic just like that.
Yeah,
it is insane how much entertainment is selling now and how much awesome it looks like. And this is just all it is. 3 years, the next 3 years are awesome in the movies.
This graphic looks exactly like the 2020 Marvel.
Yes.
That they released.
Well, they're under the same.
It is exactly like.
I'm sure they have the same PR people.
Right, but I don't know if they've been using the same format or if that was such a huge success that they were like, you know what, like, plug and play that same presentation and we'll go with it.
I was really surprised that they released it. So CinemaCon, a little bit of background into that. CinemaCon is the movie theater owners
Exhibitors. It's the exhibitors conference.
Right. So that's what it is. So this is pretty much like, here's how you're gonna get people in your movie theater.
It's a big deal at the movie theater because our GMs, they get in the little competitions and like how well their theaters do. Then they get to go to CinemaCon. It used to be called Show West. I think this year was the first year they started calling it CinemaCon.
It is.
So yeah, and then my GM was telling us about like when they turn the lights down to show the previews of their upcoming movies. It hasn't been shown anywhere else. They have security guards with night vision goggles looking around to see if anyone's filming anything.
Wow. Where do they have to preview?
They show trailers and they show clips. Movies.
They showed movies, full length movies. So
they want the theaters
out
to
of
get
this
excited
panel.
about the
Inside
movies.
Out has already been seen. The movie Trainwreck by Judd Apatow has already been seen. Those are the two that I know right off the top of my head that were released, and a bunch of people have already seen it. But it's interesting that Disney chose that medium to release that schedule. Man, I cannot wait for D23.
Theaters were excited about that.
D23.
We're going to charge those mofos $50 for popcorn.
This is approximately $4 billion in production costs alone. Like, I averaged $200 million per movie.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And half of them are going to make $1 billion. So
I'm with you.
It's insane.
Looking through the list, stuff that sticks out to me. Good Dinosaur. I thought that movie got canceled and then was in development hell and got pushed back. And they're saying it's coming out this year.
It's November.
I mean, that just seems that comes out. I assume we'll see
two Pixar movies in 1 year.
First time.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
the poster's been out for forever.
I know,
and
at one point
concept art,
At one point, it's just supposed to come out before Inside Out, and so it's just it's been forever. Alice Through the Looking Glass. I always thought that was a rumor. I didn't know that was actually a nailed down.
Do you think it'll get made?
More Johnny Depp.
At this point, sure. Marvel. Might as well. Disney put their name on it, so
more Johnny Depp. Yeah, that's what it is. Disney
What's the finest hours?
I looked that up. It was about a Coast Guard rescue.
Yeah.
This is their sports or their inspirational movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like the $1 Million Arm?
Yeah, this is their inspirational movie.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a sports movie when I saw it, but then I looked it up, and it's like a Coast Guard rescue movie based on a true story.
Regardless, we are getting. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Finest Hours, maybe the lowest grossing of the group.
Yeah.
The only one I'm not interested in here. Finest Hours, I really have to see something, but Pete's Dragon. Why are they remaking Pete's Dragon?
Live action, man.
Well, the original one's live action.
No, right.
The Dragon
but now, live. It's not animated. The original is animated and live, but it's the take of live action now.
It's going to be a motion capture dragon, maybe.
I want to say that earlier on this project, the Pete's Dragon, this was the Andy Serkis group. They were the ones who were pushing for this movie, so. Maybe this is the one that they get made.
I just thought about this. Where's the Frozen Wreck-It Ralph team? Like, where's their entry on this?
Zootopia and Moana.
And Moana, yeah.
Moana are the two Disney animated films.
Yep, that's them. And Moana could be a non-3D. Every concept art that has been released for Moana has been on
Paper?
2D.
Okay.
Nice.
So not, and I think hopefully that still is the plan. But that was the plan for a lot of movies. And Disney's last 2D animation did not do well. So very interesting. Man, it's going to be a good time for movies.
Yeah, it all started with the mouse.
Yep. Jumping into our next category, or similar category, talking about trailers. We already talked about the one of the trailers, which was the Batman versus Superman. One of the ones that we had some discussion, and one was wanting to bring it up. Which one was it?
It's called Black Mass. It's a movie dealing with Whitey Bulger. And the reason I liked this movie so much is because Frank Costello from The Departed is based off of Whitey Bulger. And so, like, this movie is the real telling of, like, the real Frank Costello, which is really nice because I love The Departed, obviously. You guys know that. And Johnny Depp, he did. I saw the trailer at least 4 or 5 times. The first time I saw it, I watched it multiple times afterwards because I loved him. Like, he was a good guy. I'm sorry, he's not a good guy. But he acted it well as Whitey Bulger.
I agree. I liked it. It's always weird to see huge changes in makeup on an actor when they're surrounded by people who are looking as their normal selves.
Yeah.
Especially when Johnny Depp's such a recognizable actor. But I think he did do well, and I actually didn't know that Whitey Bulger was the inspiration for
Frank Costello. Yeah.
So.
Like, it was all based around that time.
My take on this trailer was, this is Johnny Depp doing something new. I mean, this isn't the same drunk, crazy Johnny Depp.
Something he hasn't done since Donnie Brasco.
Right. Isn't this Blow?
Well,
or like Rum Diaries?
He's not really a murderer.
But that's the thing, though. Like, to me, did this kind of character seem some? I mean,
he was sympathetic in Blow.
Something that I have not seen I mean, we've seen so much characters so much range of characters from Johnny Depp. We know he can do it all.
Not since Pirates.
I mean, he's created very iconic characters. I mean, you go from the Edward Scissorhands that him and Tim Burton created to Jack Sparrow,
Sweeney Todd.
I mean, he's created good characters. This one it's another character he's definitely created that can stand out. So I didn't care. I have no idea what the movie's about, other than now I got to research who this guy was.
Yeah, he was an FBI informant.
I thought the dinner scene they showed was super tense.
Yes, I loved it.
I liked it a lot.
That scene, which frames the trailer, is Joe Pesci. You think I'm funny? From Goodfellas.
I agree with you too.
That's the exact ripoff. They should have written Scorsese a check.
I disagree.
No, on what merit?
He starts off friendly and then switches instantly to like, you fucked up,
But telling his family recipe.
Joe Pesci is eccentric the whole time. They're not very similar. This one was way more scary.
If this conversation
was humorous.
If this conversation had not taken place in a dining room table, we would not be having this discussion.
What do you mean?
Did the Pesci conversation also take place while they were sitting down talking?
No, they were in a bar.
I thought it was a bar.
Yeah, but they were sitting down.
They're at a table. It's not a dinner table.
All right.
It's in a club.
Yeah, if they were not sitting down in a table, if this was we wouldn't have it. I think that's where the big.
You're right. If they were at a club saying different words, we would not be having this conversation.
I don't think they're identical. I don't think it's a ripoff.
I'm surprised to see that Benedict Cumberbatch is in this movie.
He's in everything.
Yeah, he's in everything. What the hell is he doing?
No, the cast. I forgot about that. The cast in this movie is outstanding.
Yeah,
a lot of big names.
Is this going to be? Do you guys think Johnny Depp is going to get nomination for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Based off what I've seen, I think it's very possible.
This could be. I mean, Johnny Depp from Oscar world, has been away from it for a while. He's definitely been apparent in the Golden Globes.
the
talks and all that. But he's been away from the Oscars for a while.
Off the top of my head, I can only name twice he's been nominated.
Yeah, I can't even think.
Finding Neverland and Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's been a while. It's been a while for him. So
I don't remember which one came first.
there were other trailers.
Neverland was most
any other
recent.
trailers that you guys saw that want to bring up?
There's only one in Drew's mind, right, Drew?
That's right.
Yeah,
Chris,
we'll
do
get
you have
to
any
it,
other
and we'll
trailers?
get to it. Definitely encourage some people. We're not going to really discuss it. The Tomorrowland trailer looks really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
The action sequence highlighted in the trailer looks really fun. But I still know nothing about what this movie is about.
This, this movie that I didn't know that was getting made, that it's out there. It's a next Kyle Newman movie. Kyle Newman is the geek director behind Fanboys. So he's definitely a big Star Wars guy. Barely Lethal with Haley Steinfeld, Jessica Alba, Samuel L. Jackson. It looks to me, just based on the initial trailer, and this is going to be a indie release of a similar the Samuel L. Jackson movie that came out this year, Kingsman. It looked to me like a Kingsman, but
It had a Kingsman feel to it.
with girls. So that was very interesting. So just a little
opposite.
plug.
Instead of like a normal person being pulled into the spy world, it's someone from the spy world being
Pulled into
normal
normal person. So we've seen something like that, but I'm interested to see where he takes this. He's definitely a fanboy kind of guy. And the fact that this kind of film is getting released, like it's getting an indie type release, A24 is the big studio behind it. It would release in the movie theaters at the same time that it's going to hit on VOD. So pretty excited on that aspect. What are you guys watching this week? Chris, what are you watching this week? What have you been watching, playing?
I saw Newsroom.
Yeah, buddy.
You watch it? You saw it? I saw all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. Lear was gone for a weekend. Lear was gone for a week.
Yes.
They are long episodes. It's only 24 episodes. So I watched like 2 or 3 a day. That sounds like, oh my god,
30-minute episodes?
An hour.
Holy. Okay.
It's a good show. It is not a flawless show by any stretch.
No, it's not.
It is liberal as all holy fuck.
just like West Wing.
Jesus. And the main character is a Republican whose entire premise is tearing down Republicans. So that's how I feel like Andy Sorkin's like shield is like, well, he's a Republican, so it's okay.
How is Olivia Munn?
She's great in it. I liked her in it.
She's fine.
Fine.
Like,
you do get that she is jumping from this role to her next role is Psylocke in the X-Men movies.
She's cold, emotionless, and she plays the straight man for like dry humor.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen her in anything else, so I don't know if that's like her one-trick pony.
She hasn't been in anything else. That's what I'm saying. Like this is her. She goes from hosting, a show on G4 to modeling to the press. To what was the name of the show?
Newsroom?
The Newsroom. I was thinking Meet the Press. Why am I thinking? I don't know. So the Newsroom, and the next thing she's jumping into is X-Men.
I mean, they definitely play up to that. Like half of her role is being like, I'm a smart girl, but I'm also pretty. But I'm more than just pretty.
Yeah.
I'm smart.
Yeah.
So,
and this is Jeff Daniels in the title role, right?
Jeff Daniels won Best Actor. Like he won an Emmy for this
once.
Yes, but he beat up Bryan Cranston and John Hamm and
everybody beats John Hamm
and all those people.
Everybody beats John Hamm.
Wah, wah.
It's good. I mean, it's a good killer show.
Yeah,
it's worth watching. It has a good arc. It ends poorly.
It does end very poorly.
It ends so badly. There's apparently a lot of back office drama, like with production. It had a short season and cost, and but first 2 seasons are good.
Yes, I agree. It's a very memorable show.
Maybe I want to watch Sports Night.
Yes, you should watch West Wing.
Sports Night is a better
West Wing?
Andy Sorkin show.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin.
I
never saw West Wing.
West Wing is good. You should watch that next. No, it's really good. Like you'll see a lot of the walk and talk.
Lear's gonna have to go out of town for a month.
You'll see a lot of because Newsroom bar. I mean, obviously because they're in Sorkin, like there's a lot of walk and talk, and like the little zingers and things like that. Like you should watch West Wing, or you should watch the supercut of Aaron Sorkin movies and TV shows. Like someone supercut like every single thing they say in the movie and TV shows, like all his repeated phrases, like they supercut it.
I saw the Amy Schmidt spoof like burger.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
With the guy from Sports Night Off.
Her name, Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer, yes. She did the show inside Amy Schumer, and then they did the parody of like the burgers. Yeah, Chris is right. That was very funny.
Sports Night.
What?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
you can watch it. No, you watch TV.
Interesting.
You don't have to like sports?
No.
Anything else, Chris, that you've been watching?
Nothing was coming out.
Okay. What about you?
Mad Men. I'm still watching that. There's only 2 episodes left, and I'm gonna
cry. The whole entire series.
I'm gonna cry. Yes, Mad Men is so good this year.
It is solid.
So it's done.
Is it all on Netflix yet? The final season?
No.
So you're watching it like week to week?
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't want to see them go. Like I don't want to let go of Don Draper and Roger Sterling and Peggy Olsen, who's my favorite character.
Breaking Bad had to end.
I know.
That was tough.
And then I'm also like the new Veep is great, and so is Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley's a lot better this year.
Is it?
Yes.
I haven't started.
And then I'm almost done with West Wing. I got 1 season left of West Wing.
Out of how many?
8. There's 8 episodes. Right? There's 8 seasons, 26 episodes, an hour each. Like this is
7 was
this
bad.
is a thing.
Are you pulling a Drew with Californication? Or are you like, I just have to finish?
It's not getting good. Sorry, Tyler, if you happen to stumble upon this, but West Wing.
Doesn't the main Martin Sheen leave?
Well, he's president,
so he only gets 2 terms, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought he wasn't on the show the whole
Charlie
time.
Sheen.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Oh, did I spoil that? Charlie Sheen takes over.
I know he doesn't. But it's getting a hassle to go.
I'm hearing great things about Veep again.
Veep is so funny.
I think I want to watch this. I think that'll be one of the next ones for me.
Yes, watch Veep. You'll love it.
Yep. Drew?
I haven't been watching much TV. I've actually taken a hiatus from Californication. Haven't gotten around to season 7 yet.
It's probably the best.
What I have started watching was The Walking Dead. Over the past...
You've never watched that show?
No.
Nope.
What?
Never have.
Neither have
Well, I never had an interest, but 2 friends of ours, Brad and his wife Stephanie, have
The graphic novel.
basically forced the graphic novel on me, which I'm very thankful for. I'm addicted to it. It's great. I've read beyond where the show is at this point already.
That was fast.
Yeah, well, it's a graphic novel. They go real quick. It's the first time I read a graphic novel since 2009, I think. I read Watchmen around the time the movie came out.
Yeah, I did that too.
But I mean, I know this isn't really considered a graphic novel, but the way I'm reading it, it kind of is like it because there's so much there already. But yeah, and it's great. It's addicting. It's like a soap opera with zombies.
Yeah, that's why Romero didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
George Romero was like, this is just a soap opera with zombies.
How far are you into the Walking Dead show?
The show, I've only seen the first 4 episodes.
First
So
season.
so the graphic novels are great.
Yes, the show, from what I'm told, gets better beyond season 1.
Season 2 is tough. Season 3 and 4 are the best.
Okay.
I dropped off at season 2.
Yeah.
So far, though, so I'm along with Drew. I've been watching this Walking Dead. I jumped on it just based on the hype. I'm like, all right, let's put an episode. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
So far, 4 episodes into a 6-episode season. This is a good show so far. Or something that I see myself watching.
Just remember the good times when you go into season 2. Because season 2 is so drawn out.
I am that guy sitting there like, well, this isn't in the book.
That guy in line?
You know, that guy. That guy watching Walking Dead.
Okay.
No, yeah, like... And I'm like, that doesn't happen in the book. The zombies aren't this smart in the book. What is this? This is stupid. They don't call zombies geeks in the book. What is this? But yeah, it's interesting. I'll continue watching it just because of my new knowledge of the book. So
cool.
Walking Dead, for me, I think one of the main reasons I dropped off, that first episode, almost page for page the book. And so that was great.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was a horror. Like, you were like, the whole time I watched that first episode, I was like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna jump out? Oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But then, like, I feel like even at the point you guys are in episode 4, it kind of just became an action show. Like, really quickly. Like, it almost lost all sense of, like, horror, scare, zombie, like,
one of the
that
better
tension.
scenes, one of the better scenes in the first episode is when they're at the house. You know, he gets taken in by the I can't remember the two characters,
Morgan and Dwayne,
and then the mother comes to the door and she's trying.
Which is not in the book.
Well, they did that. They did that so well.
But that's not in the first episode.
Freaky.
That's the second episode, I think.
It's the first.
Is it the first?
That was so freaky and so good. Definitely props to those kind of scenes. So, for me, what I watched, in addition to starting The Walking Dead, I finally finished Daredevil. Daredevil was great. I think I would have been so disappointed if we didn't get here we're going to renew it for a second season, like, before I finished. So I was glad they did it. I cannot wait for the next Netflix Marvel collaboration.
So that Jessica one?
AKA Jessica Jones is the next one this year. So this is great. Daredevil
that bitch from Apartment 23 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, Jessica Ritter.
Oh, really?
Have we all seen all Daredevil?
I'm behind. I've been watching Mad Men.
Talk about it though. I'm not interested. I watched the first episode and wasn't into it.
What?
Sorry, it wasn't.
And you watched
wasn't high.
You'll come around 10 years later, dude.
It wasn't high enough quality. I may watch it eventually. It wasn't.
There was this one fight scene that they took in one shot.
It is
absolutely
beautiful.
Yeah, I read about that.
And then they
online.
chopped it up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it looks beautiful.
I read about that scene.
Yeah.
The whole thing, it looks great. For Daredevil, I mean, this is great. Absolutely, characters. This is what I think Netflix has done very well. Is they've really focused on characters. They are very heavily
That's what a TV show
supportive.
needs, because it's so long.
Right. This has really good characters. All the main characters play a part. They all, they're not fading out in the background.
This is 13 hours of Daredevil.
And we got to see it back to back without waiting. That's probably the best part about it. I liked how they spent the whole time. I mean, this whole first season, they spent it on really Daredevil without the Daredevil that we think we know, with the red costume. So that was fantastic. That was a great take. Vincent D'Onofrio as the lead villain, I liked him. I mean, the take that they took on him as being a regular human being, making a villain, a very evil villain, somewhat likable, was very good of something they did.
I didn't like what he did in that car.
What's that?
Spoiler free.
So something.
I saw bits and pieces of episodes beyond the first, and I know he was, chasing some woman.
Yeah,
throughout the series.
He is great into the character as a bad guy. Even like whenever he acts bad, he acts like a human bad guy, and that's what I think this episode did so well, or this show did so well. Is it kept it very human centered. Like this could be happening in Hell's Kitchen right now.
Yeah, it could be.
So, what do you think, Chris? You're the only one that's watched it along.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the whole thing. No Easter egg at the end.
No.
I did.
Did you wait?
Yeah, I waited for that.
Okay.
On that 13th episode, I was like, are they going to preview Jessica Jones?
I did my mouse over to the end to see if anything else come up. Nothing.
So much attention has been given to Wilson Fisk, Kingpin Vincent's character. I think that Vince did a great job acting it. He's a good actor, and I think that the directors gave him a specific choice, and he took it and he ran with it full force. I think from the storytelling perspective, I hated it, and I couldn't give a fuck about his personal drama or the way he spoke or his affectations. I found his henchmen to be more intimidating and charismatic and interesting on character, and I just felt like he was a complete waste of space when he wasn't like a rage monster. Like so much of the story arc that they spent on him and his motivations and what he goes through were just dead time as far as I was concerned. Like I cared more about Ben Urich, the reporter, and other
I
stuff
did not care. I thought some of the weakest parts of this whole entire show was all the scenes with the reporter Ben Urich in it. I thought that was the weakest part of it. Like, that storyline to me was the weakest out of everything. I was so invested into the Wilson Fisk character, and that's one of the reasons, because of that character and the amount of time that they took to set up this character. I'm very, very, very enthusiastic of the way they do with season 2. Because in season 2, I think he's not, as a bad guy, the motivation, it's there, it's set up. We don't have to spend any time on it. So he can just be bad. No human Wilson Fisk anymore. So,
but I mean, you bring up a good point, and I meant Ben as he was another weak character.
Yes.
Not I really liked him. But I mean, great ensemble cast. I mean, there's times when you watch it, when you're you kind of is Daredevil actually doing the right thing? Is Matt Murdock, is he on a good mission, or is he kind of a dick? Yeah. And even Foggy and Karen and his supporting cast don't always make good decisions.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that Drew and called out I didn't like this because production values. Again, I think that was a purposeful decision. They could have made this each episode look like $1 million, but they made it look grainy and gritty and dirty on purpose to give you that Hell's Kitchen.
I love it.
I kind of thought it was a made-up thing for a long time in my life. I'm there's not actually a neighborhood in New York called Hell's Kitchen, but there is. And I was that's
Daredevil lives down the street. I mean, going from what we had in visual universe, non-comic book for Daredevil, a hell of an improvement. I mean, when somebody says, I wish they would have made something from Daredevil, you're just going to say they did. Here it is. Watch this Netflix show.
Yeah.
Before, I don't think I'm ever going to suggest Ben Affleck, even though I didn't have anything against him. This time they just really spend the time. They didn't have to pack this story in 3 hours, which is why I think it's so cool. So,
much better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's other outing, which I was really worried about. And then, just in general, I think we might touch upon this a little bit. Netflix series. Is this a 13-episode story, or is this a 13-hour movie? Because there were some episodes where, quite frankly, almost nothing happened.
I agree.
It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sitting down for an hour. But if I had to wait a week for the next part, I can't. I don't have the patience for 6 hours of one story arc of stuff slowly integrating moving.
You would forget. I think that's the thing. I mean, the episodes, the cut of the episodes work very well if you're watching them, one night, the other one the next night. If you're watching them continuously, but like Chris says, this isn't a show that you watch the first 2 episodes and maybe a month later you come back to the third one. You'll forget a lot of stuff because there's a lot going on. The universe is very big. A lot of names are thrown your direction. The guy who just, just saw for 10 seconds at the beginning becomes somebody very important in the last episode, and you're like, whoa, where did this guy come from? And then so that aspect, you have to watch it all together. Was it a long movie? I don't think so. I think it just works very well as a season. They're like a package. It was very well done.
I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? From House of Cards or other Netflix series that you watch? Do you feel because they're not. I don't feel like the traditional TV shows. You can't watch these week to week.
I agree.
They know that what they're doing by releasing them.
By binge watching?
Yeah.
I mean, they get a little bit more freedom, I think, and not having to worry about hooking people too hard. I mean, you want people to say, "Oh, I want to watch the next episode now," and I will. But it's not doesn't have to be as memorable, I guess.
But listen, I think the main reason that we jump into the next episode immediately is because as soon as it finishes, it already starts loading the next episode, and you're like, oh, it's just a click away. That right there, it's just super addicting.
I couldn't see it watching it without breaks. I think there's enough of a split, between each episode of the shows I've watched to where you wouldn't really consider a literal movie. You could sit down and watch 13.
Yeah, there aren't that many cliffhangers like you would see in normal regular TV. Because going back to Lost, every episode had a little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, whatever. There was this stupid cliffhanger. They did that on purpose.
I don't hear people at work talking about Netflix shows. I hear people talking about Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. You know,
I mean, if you watch Lost like right now continuously, you'll be like, oh, man, those stupid ass writers making me wait for the whole month or whole year to come out, and then like nothing happens. So that's what's cool about this is that they're more focused. Like they don't have to worry about whether they're going to be on the air or not. That's the thing, is that with normal TV, they're like, screw you. This movie, this TV show didn't do well. We're not going to let you finish.
More story, less gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no ABC tie-in with basketball. It's like, man, check out the CIS or like it's CSI Cyber this week where we went to, like none of that shit. Like it's out. That's what I like. More focused.
They're doing it right. They're doing it right.
They're creating a great product, but I wonder how the mind share is. Because like we're talking about it, quite frankly, because we didn't want to spoil it when we first saw it.
Yeah.
So we purposely waited, and then we took a week off from recording.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about this anymore. Like this is everybody watched it. Everybody binge watched it. Who was going to watch it? Except for Edgar. I don't know why he's done. Like
I've been watching West Wing.
This is better than West Wing.
It's so long. West Wing is so long.
The same thing happened with House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. I mean, that's the way they're gonna do it. I mean, they consume. We as consumers for Netflix, that's the way they expect people to just watch them quickly and move on to the next. I mean, in a month, less than a month, we're getting, Orange is the New Black back.
Twice as bright, half as long.
So, we'll see. Anything else you guys wanted to add to that?
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you guys for listening.
No.
Whoa.
All right, so Chris, just Daredevil, must watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Drew's a crazy person.
I want to
have to watch it.
I want to know, how does it compare to comics? Like, because I remember when there was a vote from the Marvel fans on what the top 10 favorite comic story arcs for Marvel were.
Yeah, I remember
Daredevil
that. It
was like they had 2 different Daredevil story arcs in the top 10, or maybe even the top 5.
And the
And I was like, I don't know anything about that.
It was
the
like
omnibus.
And the omnibus, omnibus.
How does this show compare to like those highly rated Daredevil comics?
I should remember because I'm the one who brought that story. I don't remember what 2 those were. One was.
I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be those 2, but
show,
any highly regarded Daredevil comics you can think of. Like, is there obvious inspiration in the show, or I guess
I'm not huge knee deep into Daredevil like any of the other characters. I mean, this Frank Miller obviously wrote one of the bigger Daredevil story arcs, and that involves Elektra and Bullseye and like all that shenanigans, which are not in season 1 at all. If you consider stuff that doesn't happen, spoilers. Sorry.
Is Kingpin the only villain from the comics?
No, but he's the only really.
He's the main guy. He's the main guy that gets focused on. But there's people in the background.
There's people in the background. There's homages. There's names used. But I mean, he's the main one. There's no other traditional costumed villain. It stays very street level the entire time. There's hints that it might not go that direction forever, but that could just be like, hey, we throw this name, but we're really not going to do anything with it. I would say that Daredevil is best when he is removed from the Marvel universe. When he is Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen, fighting his fight, protecting his city, and that's what this focuses on, and that's what this remains really positive and low about, in relationships. I think that the relationship that he has with Foggy is spot on for me and amazing, and just like seeing them be best friends and watching them go through this season together, they nailed that perfectly. Karen Page is in it. She has a good arc and she has a good character time, and I think that they
is that
do
the Rosario Dawson?
Claire is, which I was surprised not to see her as much.
No, it's the redhead,
the blonde.
The blonde.
No, she's
the secretary.
Mm-hmm. She's the secretary. And Rosario Dawson, like great actress, great character. I don't want to say who she is because I don't know how publicized that was, but she did not play the role I expected her to.
Okay.
But I think they did a good job. I think they stayed true to what makes Daredevil special and unique. And I'll be interested to see how it goes forward. And Guillermo kind of touched on this. He stays in the black mask the most time. he looked weirdest in costume.
I love the costume. I thought when the costume was revealed,
But there's not a lot of color.
the right amount of color. I mean, it fits so great. Like, it looked so great as a costume. It wasn't all fully leather. It had, like patches of armor. Like, it was so cool. One of the coolest costumes. I absolutely agree. Something that I just want to bring up for you guys who are catching up. Episode 7 of that series, the one with the name of the episode is Stick. As you're watching this, a lot of my friends who watched Daredevil already missed this, and I definitely, like, the first time I watched it, thought about it immediately. I just want to see, Chris, if you caught it. On that episode, the Japanese have a weapon that they're going after. And this weapon, they refer to it as a black sky.
I'm just going to cover my ears.
And then... No, it's not a big spoiler for anything. Black
Sky.
It's
just 2 episodes ahead of where I am.
No, it's okay. Well, just pay attention. So, Black Sky.
Okay.
Could that be the Inhumans? Did you catch that?
I didn't know what Black Sky was.
So, Black Sky, they open the van and we see a kid who has superpowers.
Okay.
And that's supposed to be the weapon.
That's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler.
What the hell?
It's a spoiler, but...
Edit.
No, I'm willing to keep it because a lot of people miss that connection. I think this is the first time that we're seeing the Inhumans.
They're in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, but...
I told him that, actually.
But I think Daredevil hit it before.
They mentioned, like, they call it Black Sky as if it's something that occurs multiple times, which maybe the Inhumans could. I just assumed when I was watching it was some crazy, crazy, like, ninja magic nonsense.
Okay.
Like,
When you said Japan, I was like, oh my god, is it Wolverine?
More so than in, necessarily referencing an Inhuman. Maybe Black Sky is something that I should have picked up on from the Marvel Universe, but didn't jump out at me.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is why you're thinking of it. Inhuman's leader is Black Bolt, who's not allowed to speak or he'll
that's what I'm telling you.
So Tom Hardy decided not to do it?
Was he assigned to that?
Maybe not. I don't know. I thought he was the leader, but no, that was Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
never mind.
Suicide Squad.
Way off.
Yeah, Drew.
No Inhumans cast has been announced yet.
So either way, I thought that was a lot of people had. I don't know. I made that connection immediately. So
Black Bolt is just like what's his face, Banshee, right? I'm like
A little more powerful, apparently.
Yeah, but Banshee can like control it. Like Black Bolt even speaks.
Oh.
And just like, hey, how's it going? What's going on, internet?
Okay.
All right. Well, Daredevil, I guess conclusion must watch for everyone. Another hit for Marvel. So jumping into, I guess, the topic of the week.
That wasn't the topic of the week?
Oh. That was the secondary topic of the week. So topic of the week, 2 weekends ago now, I guess it was.
Someone.
Drew and myself went to Anaheim to be part of Star Wars Celebration 7. This is the completely focused convention, Star Wars focused convention in the world. They do it, or I guess they do it. I wish they could say that they do it every year.
They are now.
They are going to do
Spoiler.
it now. But this is the 7th time they've done it. This is the first time I've taken place of it, or part of it. And this year, man, I am still in withdrawal from this convention. It was the convention started on a Thursday, continued on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So a 4-day convention with one big main event every day. So it kicked off on Thursday with the big panel, which was J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, and surprise guests. To talk about the Force Awakens and the development and whatnot. For that, I'll share a little story with you guys. Is to get into that panel, Drew and myself, we flew out of Florida to go to California. The doors open in California at the convention center at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
6:30, wasn't it? 6:30.
I think it was 6 o'clock.
Whatever.
So we got there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Our plane landed.
At 5 o'clock. We pretty much got in a rental, went straight to the convention center, and got in line.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we spent 17 hours in line, including sleeping in concrete floors, along with. I mean, this is the best part about it is we weren't the only crazy ones. There was about 30,000 people, other crazy ones, in that room. At the end of the night, it ended up being...
It was a giant warehouse, basically. It
full
was like
of
the
people
basement of the convention
center. Just their stuff.
Did it smell? Like, did it smell a nerd?
The bathroom was one of the worst smells I've ever dealt with in my life, and I had to go in there several times. It was awful.
That was towards the
huge
5
bathroom. There were like 10 stalls and 20 urinals. And there was a line for the stalls with plenty urinals open.
No.
It was so bad.
You were not forced to be in there. You could go outside.
Yeah.
You know,
I had to go out for some air eventually.
You could go outside. It was very cool.
Wait, is it a tree?
I actually went across the street to the Hilton that was there. And we weren't staying at the Hilton, but I went to their lobby bathroom because I was not going into that other one again. I was like, oh my god, like
So
it made
that
me
was
gag.
cool. That was so definitely it was definitely a grueling experience to wait for this Thursday event. But one of the most rewarding waits that I ever done, and I've done, one day waiting for bands and stuff like that, getting like 3 hours ahead of a movie. Like I've done that. This was one of the most rewarding. So we get in, we're in the room, in the arena where stuff is going to happen. The energy is super high. They're telling us, in the morning they said, we started seeing the people who were not going to make it because they showed up late. So they started forming in another place. So I felt so privileged to be part of that.
We were in the first row too. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there was still like
The first line.
maybe 400 people in front of us.
Yeah. So we got there. I mean, we waited that long. And talk about Thursday, the event. J.J. Abrams comes out. Kathleen Kennedy comes out. They talk about the production of...
You skipped something though. What happened in the middle of the night?
Of course. So in the middle of the night, roughly about a little bit before 10 p.m. So everyone's exhausted already. We've been in line for a little bit over 4 hours, and we're talking about, all right, somebody needs to go make a food run, and everybody's has kind of the same question. People brought snacks, so we're feeding off of Pop-Tarts and granola bars and protein bars, but that can only be so tasty. And then some representatives from the Star Wars Celebration Convention come out and says, all right, everybody, listen up. We have pizza coming for you guys that was sent by J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh.
So the next day they tell the story that Kathleen Kennedy had the idea that let's get everybody that's waiting in line pizza. And they delivered it. They didn't, but like
Came 20 pies at a time.
Yes. So
4 different visits. So we have 80,
they owned
80
up to
pizzas.
it, and apparently they called. I'm sure J.J. Abrams didn't pick up the phone to call, but it was their idea. They called the pizza place, and the pizza place started sending pies. Everybody in line that was there until like 10, 11, maybe even midnight got a slice of pizza. So that
Where
was
was it from?
A local place.
local place, I'm sure it
How
was.
It
does
had
Star
just a
Wars pizza-
generic box.
How does Star Wars pizza taste?
Oddly enough, neither one of us had a slice because we had just had dinner. Like we had made
Guillermo
that
went
food
and
run.
got Carl's Jr. So
No, it wasn't. It was Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box.
Drew.
Sorry, West Coast,
Sorry.
man.
You get stabbed for that kind of stuff.
Carl's
man.
Jr.'s West Coast too.
It is.
It's Hardee's.
No wonder the bathroom smelled so
What's
bad.
it out here?
Hardee's.
It's right here. It's Carl's Jr. out there.
Carl's Jr. out there.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not the same.
So
Jack in
it's,
the Box
it's here
is-
basically, but it's not here.
Either way,
But
so
you could have said you had dinner from J.J. Abrams.
Oh, we
Yeah.
did.
You
I
can't.
held it.
We passed it.
We
to the
passed it
next
on
person.
because we were so far ahead. There was definitely people around us.
I mean, at this point, I was already getting tired, and I had just eaten, so the pizza didn't look that appetizing to me, so I passed.
That's right.
Did you guys watch all the Star Wars movies?
And I had
while you
been to
were
the
waiting?
bathroom
No.
a couple times.
Did you street pass with a lot of people?
Yes, a ton.
Some of the coolest experiences on there was going on Twitter and seeing the news develop in this room. I mean, we had the main blogger from Slash Film was there. One of the main bloggers from Ain't It Cool was there.
Harry Knowles was there?
Not Harry Knowles.
Quint.
Oh,
Quint was there.
All right.
Quint was there. the Drew from Hitfix, he was there. So like all of those guys are like there. Like, these are the guys who I'm reading articles about, and they're like writing them as we go, and I'm beating them for the news.
Cool.
So if you check out the Star Wars Celebration Twitter feed, check if you check the Twitter feed for Star Wars Celebration, look who broke the news of J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy bought pizza.
That guy in line.
That guy in line.
Oh wow! I didn't think about that.
Circle.
I got retweeted by Harry Knowles and Hitfix, right after.
This shit was on the news. We saw it the next day.
Yeah,
they were talking about on the local news. They were talking about pizza.
J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy.
I mean, they didn't credit Guillermo, but you know.
No, but that was a cool experience to live it through Twitter and blogging about it.
Interesting story too. Head editor of Slash Film, Peter Skreta. I forget how to say his last name, but he actually had tweeted a photo of the line, and our friend Tyler, who was in Jacksonville or in Florida at the time, he sent us a photo, and as a joke, I said, "I think I see Drew in there," and I was like, "Holy crap, I am in that picture." He didn't even see me because it was just the top of my head, but I was like, "Man,
we were part of the news."
Slash Film was right behind me, and they tweeted.
And he was. Photo. We had better seats than Slash Film in this instance.
So, what did you guys see or do besides like the trailers that hit the web that everybody saw? And like
too much talk about the line. Let's go.
Okay, so all right. So Thursday we get to see the trailer. The reveal is J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy start talking about the development of the movie, how it came about, how it was originally George's idea.
Yeah,
George Lucas's idea to move on and make another.
JJ said no at first.
Yes,
changed his mind
after I guess got convinced.
Lucas says that Star Wars 7 is his idea. Star Wars 7 and Disney stopped.
No, Star Wars 7 is his idea.
The story.
He says that he wanted to move forward and he wanted Kathy Kennedy to find the right people. Like he said, he thought she was the right person to go carry it forward. So one of the first people that she thought of was JJ. Needed to be involved in this. And so he's been part of it from the beginning. So they talk about that, and then they said let's bring they talk about the newcomers. So they bring him out. We get John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, and Daisy Ridley. All three of them come out. They're definitely enthusiastic about it. Nice. John Boyega is definitely going to be
he can control the crowd. John Boyega can.
It's going to be one of those charismatic guys. Definitely going to be Daisy Ridley. Definitely very pretty girl. Fits the role very well from what we've seen. Oscar Isaac shows up very demanding, very cocky.
He was the cool
of the group.
Obviously, the Han Solo.
The Han Solo of the group. Like definitely that was there. They bring one of the coolest things that we got to see, and I don't know if it was that big of a deal when you guys were watching it maybe online, because this whole thing is broadcasted to the world online. We get to see the new droid, BB-8. They bring out R2-D2, and then they bring out BB-8. BB-8 is a sphere on top of another sphere, and the top sphere balances while the bottom sphere rotates. We got to see that moving right in front of us. It was so
It's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was too. It's right. Almost as tall as R2-D2.
Yeah, it is so
really? Yeah,
cool.
It was crazy.
It was so cool to see this thing. And then they bring the stormtroopers, and then they bring what they're calling the legacy characters, which is Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher,
Anthony
Daniels, Peter Mayhew, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah, before anyone came out, before even J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy out, the host apologized that Harrison Ford couldn't be there. They wanted to be there, but he was still resting from his accident. So they made the announcement right up front. He's not going to be here at all.
Yeah.
And then he showed up.
No. They were serious.
But I think that was on everybody's mind. And so they dimmed the lights. They said, "You guys want to see the next or a teaser for it?" J.J. Abrams says, that says that, and then lights go down.
Nobody said no.
That's right. Lights go down. And the coolest minute and a half start. I mean, being part of that reaction. I mean, we are the first people to see it.
Didn't it already come out
No.
All right.
So this is like it.
Shut up.
I feel like we saw it.
It was simultaneous.
Or
It was simultaneous,
It
right?
was
So
live-
this was,
it was
simulcast,
live webcast.
and as soon as that they like hit play on that preview, it hit the internet. So I'm sure somebody could have fast forwarded and seen it. But being part of that experience of being with that level of committed fans of Star Wars, and being part of the reactions when we see the key elements of the trailer.
I mean, people cheer with the Lucasfilm logo. They cheer as soon as the
Nerds.
Star
It was
Destroyer is noticed.
Right.
Luke starts talking. They cheer. It's ridiculous.
Did they think it was Tatooine?
Everyone did.
Ah,
No.
nerds.
He
Yeah.
talked about Jakku
It's not
before he
So,
played the
right,
trailer.
before he
the
played
trailer
the
was the
trailer.
last thing they played.
Right.
So no.
Before the trailer,
Jakku.
we definitely, he says, the desert planet is Jakku, which, everyone's like, how the hell do you spell it? And thanks to the Star Wars Twitter feed, that's how everyone knew how to spell it, Jakku. So we found about Jakku, we found about the story of the character. So
I didn't know that wasn't Tatooine.
What?
I didn't know that.
Pay the fuck attention.
Jakku. I mean,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was Tatooine.
And they give a little bit of background of all the characters, so the trailer definitely made...
did you know whose lightsaber they handed off?
No.
Oh,
I don't know.
Hey, now there's no official word on that.
I don't know.
All right, so
Everybody knows what it is.
So here's the deal. So Thursday, the trailer that happens. I think what I want to do.
Whose lightsaber is it? My
Whose
favorite
lightsaber
moment.
is it?
My favorite moment, and I love to rewatch.
Whose lightsaber is it?
It's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
No,
the
it's
first
Darth
one.
Vader's.
The blue one.
Vader's.
That's not Vader's
Darth Vader's?
lightsaber.
It's Anakin Skywalker's
It's
lightsaber.
Anakin's blue one that Luke inherited and lost when his hand got chopped
Yes.
off. So I guess technically it's Anakin's.
Okay.
because Darth Vader is a more recognizable character.
But the last person to hold it was Luke Skywalker.
Okay. All right.
What was your favorite moment?
I was going to say
of Thursday.
of the trailer, and I'd like to rewatch the handheld recorded version of the crowd reaction to the trailer.
Many Bothams
I
died.
mean, they sell it
To bring you that trailer, Drew.
They there's cheering throughout, as I've already noted, but when it fades to black at the end, people start cheering. They think it's over, and it's like yeah. And then Harrison Ford's Chewie, and everyone literally the crowd just cuts off. Everyone just immediately goes silent, and then he goes, "We're home," and the crowd just explodes 10
It was
times
so
louder,
good.
10 times louder than they ever were cheering before that.
Black screen comes up.
It
I
was
hear the
so
words
great.
Chewie.
Everyone's
Tear.
head just goes.
A tear came down my face.
You guys.
This has never happened to me ever, and that was a tear of holy crap emotion. Every time I see this trailer and I hear this, I still get jittery. I still get excited.
I got teary eyed too, and
It's just one of those moments.
you had to be there. You had to be there.
Yeah.
We're going to sidetrack a little bit, and this is going to be the longest episode we ever recorded. Why Star Wars? Maybe that should be a topic of itself. I like Star Wars too. I'm not picking on Star Wars when I say this.
Yeah.
But I also like Back to the Future. I also like Indiana Jones. I mean, there's other trilogies. There's other franchises. I also like Star Trek. But why does Star Wars just elicit this visceral reaction where people are crying and freaking out and watching it 42 million times? Why is it surpassed every other? And I do believe that, honestly. It has surpassed every other franchise in medium. It is bigger than those 3 movies. And 3 shitty movies. I mean, there's no other series that can recover from, having 3 good movies and 20 years later, 3 shitty movies.
Yeah.
But somehow, it still has...
3 okay movies.
And people are still, ridiculous. And I'm excited. I'm not, picking on fans. But I don't understand, why it has that fan fervor. And people try and explain it. They try and say, oh, my dad introduced it to me. Yeah, your dad introduced other stuff to you too, but somehow
Mine didn't. He only introduced that.
but somehow this is what clicks and causes this reaction.
It is. It's mentioned by someone at the convention. I don't remember who, but it's. I think Bob Iger in the interview I saw. It's the greatest.
That's not just someone, Drew.
Well, no.
Whatever. Just
Well,
the
I
CEO
say
of
someone
Disney.
because I couldn't remember at first. But we didn't see Bob Iger. He did a
There's
private.
words,
He did a private interview that was posted on the internet. But he said it's the only maybe the only one worth talking about, but the best mythology ever written in the 20th century.
Whoa. Hang on a second. What about Harry Potter?
I mean,
It's more 21st century.
What about Lord of the Rings?
All right, so here's my take. This is a movie that came out originally in '77, and here we are.
He didn't say only. I said that myself. But it definitely is the biggest.
But this is a movie that has outlived generations, and it's part of American culture and pop culture as a whole. Chris, every single one of your franchises does not exist if Star Wars doesn't happen. A lot of the movies that we're seeing today, don't exist if Star Wars doesn't happen.
Something else would have come along, but then it would have been regarded just as much as Star Wars. So, the
benefits of what Star Wars brought.
It's the best movie ever made, but people don't freak out over it.
Citizen Kane sucks.
But it introduced camera angles and it introduced dynamic storytelling. Right. But it's
Star Wars brought Lucasfilm, which brought THX, Skywalker Sound, ILM. All of those were fruits of Star Wars.
Which then turned into Pixar.
No.
Yeah, the ILM part.
No.
George Lucas helped found Pixar. Yeah. It's not specifically.
Well,
it's not any one of those
the
things,
Lucasfilm animation became Pixar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So to me, and I'll tell you,
Jobs is involved in Pixar.
Yeah. I think that question is.
And J.J. Abrams wears an Apple Watch. Boom. Time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle. That is very true.
The thing is,
dude, we just killed that. You hear that train wreck? That was poor Memo.
Please go on now.
So what you ask is, it's a personal question that you're going to get a personal answer, and that is the key.
Star Wars was lucky. It's the timing.
But
it was the first.
Chris asked why Star Wars, and every time you're going to ask that question, somebody's going to give you a personal answer, and there's the key to the whole question. Star Wars is part of a person, whether you like it or not. If you don't like Star Wars, you're going to say, this is what the geeks like. This is what this is what the nerds like. This is so stupid. That's a personal preference. That's what Star Wars defined for a generation. Sci-fi. I mean, there was comic books. There was everything. But Star Wars is number one. That is it, and that is what it is.
Sci-fi.
It's a personal entity that a lot of us identify with. And take pride of. I mean, I take pride of liking Star Wars. That's something that I regard very personal, and it's not something that it's shared very commonly anywhere. At this convention, and part of the reason why it was so cool and such a good experience is everybody there likes Star Wars. You don't have to hold back that tear because it is okay at that convention to do it because you weren't the only one.
You were the outcast if you weren't crying.
Yeah, that's what it is. So there lies what it is, in my opinion. It's why Star Wars, because it's part of people's lives. It's personal. That's how people care about Star Wars or not care. It's personal. So
yeah. I feel like I would be the same way if I was at an Apple announcement. I would cry.
You would cry?
Yeah, I would cheer.
iOS 38.6.
Oh, it's the most beautiful thing. No, okay, I'll be quick. When Steve Jobs did his Apple keynotes, he used to say there's one more thing. At the end of every keynote, and then he would introduce something else. And then when he died, Tim Cook never did that. He's never done that until he introduced the Apple Watch after one more thing. And then Tim Cook is like, well, there is one more thing. And then the audience erupted. That was the coolest thing ever. That's all.
And then he wasted it on Apple Watch?
And he did it for Apple Watch.
I think that this goes to say what I had not experienced, which was a convention that it's centered on one thing.
Yeah.
You go to an Apple event, it's going to be every person that goes to this Apple event is Apple is what they believe in.
Yeah.
They're supporters. They embrace it.
Or they write for people who love Apple.
Yeah.
Right. So there's interest. So that's, I think, what we see is these kind of conventions. I definitely cannot wait for them to do a Back to the Future convention centered on just Back to the Future, an Indiana Jones convention. I would be part of that because Star Wars to me was probably number 3 as far as franchises. Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Star Wars was named maybe
Mummy.
3.
Get out.
The Mummy's in there.
Mummy's top 5.
Definitely for me it is. But like just the experience on this, like at this point I don't care to talk about Indiana Jones. I don't care to talk about Back to the Future because Star Wars, it's happening now and we're getting the next chapter in December. I cannot stop talking about this thing. I am so excited for in 2 weeks. Star Wars weekend start in or down in Orlando, the theme parks, and that's going to be an outstanding experience again because it's going to be that little snippet of what Celebration was. So,
how did you handle Star Wars Celebration, Drew, when you want to live in a spoiler-free environment? Did you just acknowledge that you were just going to be inundated?
Well,
Yeah, because you saw the costumes, right? Like you saw the costumes of
but
these.
there's no spoilers. This is like what they want to reveal.
Yeah, they were very
They didn't
careful.
want to reveal spoilers.
There was not a lot
There's
revealed,
not
to be
spoilers.
honest. Like Jakku was the only reveal.
The Resistance, the First Order.
Like outside of the trailer, Jakku was the only thing announced, as
Yeah.
far as I can remember.
well, that and then the fact that it's the little background on the.
I guess
the
there's like a snow trooper and a flame trooper that were in the
Yeah.
costume and prop area.
There's
that
a
were not in
flame
the trailer.
trooper?
flame trooper with a gigantic tank behind him, and a flame and a hose.
It's 40 years later. What? They're not burning
This
down.
still a long time
thermals in
ago in a
Vietnam, are
galaxy
they?
far, far away, my
Like,
friend.
They might.
I like the idea of them like having some sort of Captain Planet. We got a stormtrooper, a flame trooper, a water trooper, and behind.
Yeah, it's like Avatar.
To make that chrome trooper, whatever that is.
Yeah, that was cool.
All right,
No,
so
I'm
that's
excited.
Thursday. What happened?
So man, this is gonna be.
Sorry.
Hey, this is our 1 year anniversary. Right?
This is close,
This is
yeah.
gonna be 3 hours, folks. Strap in,
Talk about
folks.
the omnibus.
Well, I mean, we're not going to have as much to talk about outside of that Thursday event because
Yeah.
that was huge.
What about Rogue? The Rogue One.
All right, so
Battlefront, Star Wars Clone Wars Rebels season 2.
Oh man. So Thursday was like the highlight of the highlights. Like I don't think
That was
anything is
literally
ever gonna
the
top.
greatest moment of my life. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Drew,
I've
really?
never felt that. Like, what do I have? I mean, I'm not married. I don't have any kids. Like, what else do I have to compare to? I don't like my own birth. Maybe I don't know.
I
Like,
second Drew on that. So
What?
Come on. I
Oh my
second
God.
what I've experienced in that room with watching that trailer, like that was just like it was great. Top. I wouldn't say like the best, but it's definitely top.
Yeah.
One of the top moments.
They haven't had kids yet, man. That was great. Watching
Wow.
Maya being born, that was a great moment of my life.
Yeah.
well, you can have Star Wars at number 3 then.
That's right. All right, so Thursday this happens, and then I mean the whole scene. There's a gigantic convention, like 4 halls of a convention center, and it's wall to wall Star Wars stuff. There's merchandise, there's characters, there's signings, there's movie props.
The freaking exhibitors hall, where the merches were, was gigantic. Like bigger than the warehouse where we lined up the night
Like
before.
4 of those.
Yeah,
It's
it
4
was
of those.
Literally, it was gigantic.
Did you guys buy anything cool?
I didn't buy anything.
Did they charge for signing?
Yes, they did.
Bastards.
That's what I mean. But the signings, like for me, one of the coolest things was for $250, you could get a picture with Mark Hamill. $250, you could get a picture with Carrie Fisher. For $400, you could get a picture with both. Twins.
Probably autograph included, I would
Yes.
imagine.
You would
Jesus,
get
that's so much money.
Like they will hand you an autograph. They wouldn't sign it like right there.
I wonder what the cut is. Like seriously, how much does Mark get? How much does Celebration get?
They probably got a contract. You know, like just show up. We'll pay you
I think
$25,000
autograph.
for
I
the
think.
weekend.
I don't know if Celebration gets anything out of that,
You think that's all in his pocket?
or you know,
They get a
whoever
contract.
his people are. You know,
Yeah, sure.
I don't think the convention gets anything.
Does that get taxed?
And you know, most celebrities say, you know, this is going to charity. You know, because
Did they say that?
I think so, like at
Isn't it
Dragon
like
Con,
the Force?
the
Did they
really
say
expensive
it?
ones like Patrick Stewart, Stan Lee, they're all like, yeah. I mean, you pay this money. I don't
I'm not keeping
think
it.
100% goes to charity. They donate some of it. Yeah.
You know, they do pay
It's
for
so
their own
predatory.
tickets and their
Like,
hotels
These
and
are
whatnot.
people crying over Star Wars trailers. These are the biggest fans in the universe. These are the best moments of their lives. And you're turn and be like,
I mean-
hey, you want my autograph?
I understand it is shitty, but the thing is like if
That's
it were included in the price of admission, there would be no end to them taking photos and signing autographs through that whole convention, you know. So they have
the
to.
fact that
they
they offered those opportunities. I mean, if I was like, you know, if I really was invested into the Luke Skywalker character or the Princess Leia, like I would have paid.
Who are you if you're not invested in it?
That's the whole point of Star Wars.
You could have put $1,000 autograph or photo opportunity for Harrison Ford. I would have paid it.
Whoa.
I would have paid it. He would have been the guy to do it for me.
Would you have him sign a Indiana Jones or a Han Solo headshot?
Indiana Jones.
no question.
You would be kicked out. You would be kicked out of Celebration.
No question about it.
Like, give me
Indiana
that.
Jones 5 is coming. That's
right.
Name your Twitter handle.
That's
You
right.
should get him to write that.
So the fact that they offer those opportunities, even though they are, you know, in this medium, they are like, you know, the trinity of this Star Wars medium, but the fact that it's accessible for the true fan, that was pretty cool. So there's that, autographs. The regular folks were just, you know, walking around. I mean, there were celebrities walking around being part of this. As part of the whole deal, we got to see JJ just right there at the replica of the cantina. We got to see Kathy Kennedy, Weird Al Yankovic,
Actually,
Billy D. Williams.
There's a video.
What's that?
There's a video of the Kathleen Kennedy interview at the cantina
Yeah.
on YouTube, and Guillermo and I walk by in the background.
And I'm just standing right there,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah. At the very end, the camera pans across the audience, and Guillermo's got his phone up taking pictures.
Taking pictures of Kathy Kennedy.
That was pretty interesting.
So,
Why was Billy D there?
because he's Lando.
It's a Star Wars convention. It wasn't only Force Awakens. Like,
Yeah, this is...
fucking Emperor Palpatine was there.
Yes.
He's
Ian
going to be
McDermott.
in Force Awakens.
No, he's not.
He's-
Shut up.
he's
He
in
said
Force
that was
Awakens.
his big announcement from his
That's
panel.
what
Was
was
that
his
he's
deal.
not in it.
He is not. The Emperor
said-
is dead.
He said, "I am dead."
The Emperor is dead. Like, that was his... Like, every
That is
announcement
wrong.
had...
Did they say Darth Vader is dead?
No.
Fucking Darth Vader. That's
The only thing that we saw of Darth Vader was...
Interesting comment I want to make about the trailer, though. To me, and I'm not saying this is necessarily true, but to me, that shot of the helmet didn't look like it was footage from the movie. I almost feel like it was made for the trailer.
Which could be right.
So what happened? Luke burned Vader. Somebody saw Vader's dead body that was laying sideways, took it, and propped the head up. Did the Ewoks, like, not turn it into
No,
a
I mean, that's just
like,
a
where
helmet.
did-
The body was gone. It's only a helmet.
There's a skull there.
It's a skull.
It's not a
Right.
skull.
Yes,
It's
is.
part of
There's
it,
not a
yeah.
skull.
There's a
The
skull.
helmet is made to look like a skull for effect. There's no skull in there.
There's
a
some
skull
human element
in there.
Yeah, I bet you
Helmet on
money
top of
there's
it.
no skull in there.
There's
I will
a,
bet you money.
if you watch it, I kind of second Chris on this one. There is a
I think it's made to look like a skull.
there's
for
a
effect.
human
There's no skull.
element to it. I mean, the just you can see it in like the mouth. Like there's a human element there. It could be. I mean, who knows? I mean, we see him
But the way
catch fire.
it doesn't look like it's from the movie, and I could be wrong.
I agree with
But
that. Like, it seems like a
I
nut
almost feel like that was made for the trailer. Just like the reveal from Mark Hamill's panel,
Yes.
was that he went to a studio
Yes.
just a week or two prior to Celebration
To
and
re-record
re-recorded those lines from Return of the Jedi for the trailer. So, and in the trailer, it's actually the Return of the Jedi cut and his re-recording played on top of each other.
So you hear like an echo, and it's like
Yeah.
two generations of Luke talking.
So it's not from the movie. He doesn't speak. Well, he might speak something like that in the movie, but what we hear in the trailer is not.
it
Who's he
was
talking to?
recorded. We don't know.
can't say that.
We don't know.
I mean, it might not mean anything. He might not be talking to someone directly because
No.
obviously, just
They're not going to use the dialogue, right?
It's just a reference to Return of the Jedi, and the Force being strong in his family, basically. But I think, the fact that they do add in that line, "You have that power too," it does mean something. But obviously, from the title of the movie, there's going to be more people with the Force.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a surprise.
So I guess other things that happened. They had one of the exhibits that they had was the Force Awakens exhibit. At points, there were some points throughout the weekend where the wait to get into this room with some of the props of the movie was over 3 hours.
Did you guys do
those
that?
lines. We locked out and we waited maybe 20 minutes
Because you got
to get into the
passes.
exhibit.
No, we didn't.
So that was definitely the epic part, a big part of it. The Battlefront reveal, definitely one of the coolest moments, and something that would not have happened if Drew didn't active VIP.
Just absent-mindedly walk into the VIP room.
Sorry,
Star Wars Celebration.
Definitely, that was cool. The reveal of the Battlefront trailer, another like high during the weekend.
That wasn't that big of a deal for me because I'm not into the Star Wars video games. So, but I mean, it was exciting to be in the room, obviously.
Reveal trailer looked great, looked amazing. It's pre-alpha footage, so it's complete garbage and fabrication. It's not what the game's going to be.
No.
There's a disclaimer on the screen that this is gameplay footage.
Yes.
Pre-alpha gameplay footage.
So here's the deal: how they explained it. They said they developed the trailer using the game engine. And what they did have in the exhibit, and there's videos of it, we didn't. So there was an exhibit, like a demo exhibit,
closed exhibit, by the way.
Closed
like
exhibit
you can't walk by
inside,
and look in.
right? Hosted by EA and DICE, where there was actual gameplay footage. There's you can look it up online. There's actual gameplay footage. The guy in front of the room is sitting there with his PS4 controller, walking around in this environment.
The line was ridiculous. We didn't even attempt.
Yes.
Until, like, and you say the PS4 controller, like, until they show a disc, maybe showing is an
E3.
Until they show a disc inserted into a PlayStation 4,
E3.
Xbox One with a controller, it's all.
All right, so this room inside of
take
it.
your word for it because I'm not familiar.
Yeah, if you look,
with the way
there's
this
a video
industry works,
online on it. Inside of this room, there is 4 rows that you can go in. So like 4 different tiers. The first 2 tiers has numbers 1 through 20 in blue. The second one has numbers 1 through 20 in red, and the last 2 are just like marked, like audience. So the articles or whatever, they're saying that same exhibit is going to E3, and they're going to have the 40-player multiplayer experience at E3.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
40-player multiplayer, first and third person point of view, aerial attacks, vehicles.
No space battles.
No space
I
battles.
don't know. I was freaking out about that. I know it's called Star Wars, but I mean, like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
We're going to be okay with
Fighting an X-wing in Jakku is
There'll be
DLC
DLC with space battles most likely.
All right, so
What
that
about
was
Rogue One?
That was the Friday highlight. Saturday highlight was Star Wars Rebels. They premiered the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Rebels season 2.
Did you watch it?
Which will not? No, we did not, because we watched Mark Hamill instead.
We haven't finished season 1, so we didn't feel we needed to be in there.
Correct.
Mostly, you should just jump to it. Like,
We could have. I knew enough of a backstory that I could have.
Yeah,
but
how long did you guys wait in line?
no, so this was at 3 o'clock. This is an event that started at 6, it started at 7 o'clock at night. At 3 o'clock, they cut off the line. And it was already way too many people were capacity to go into it. It was not in their biggest room because Mark Hamill was in their biggest room doing his show, which is where we were. So the highlight for Saturday was the preview reveal of Rebels. Dave Filoni and the cast talking about it, what they do for the move for Rebels and what they're bringing and setting up what potentially could be like something just as good as the movies that they're working, and maybe even some of those characters jumping into the movies and seeing some of them later. So that's important. That's maybe in some of the anthology movies we'll see some of these characters cross over.
What does anthology mean?
The anthologies is they don't want to call them spin-offs. They don't want to call them side projects.
What does it mean, though?
Anthology movies.
So in literature, an anthology book is not one story. It is a collection of short stories.
Yes.
Okay.
So these movies aren't necessarily short stories. They are a collection. So like Rogue One is going to be Star Wars Anthology Rogue One.
Okay.
There's not going to be a Rogue One 2 or anything like that.
Correct.
It's going to jump to another timeline.
I
It's
see,
gonna be a
okay.
different story. So they fill in the universe.
But they're all, canon. They're all part of the same story
Okay.
overall.
And they're all happened within the span of what Star Wars is.
Okay.
But we could see an Old Republic canon anthology movie. We could see.
I don't doubt it. I think
Yeah, I think the Old Republic.
they're going to keep making. They want to make a movie every year, so there's.
We
gonna
could
be
see
a
the
lot of
origin
shit.
story of Han Solo, Lando Calrissian. Like there's
Bound to be some
plenty.
crap, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt is Han Solo.
Nah. So that was the highlight for Saturday. For Sunday, the highlight was exactly that. Again, this was another one that, based on what we had seen over the weekend, we showed up like around 6 in the morning for the line that opened at 10. And we waited that, but we got into the room probably 4 rows behind from the stage, probably.
Yeah, we were close.
We were really close for that one.
This was the exclusive, the only thing at Star Wars Celebration
that no one got to see. Right. No one got to see. No one got to hear what was said in there.
They came out beforehand and said, like, please, no phones, recording. No recording. All that.
So they came out, they talked about the development of the standalone. Like, we don't want it to be called standalones. We don't want it to be called spin-offs. We want it to be known as the anthology films. And the first anthology film...
They had Kathleen Kennedy come out and the
lead story writer and the Bible holder of Star Wars.
Yeah. They're like basically story developers at Lucasfilm.
But this one guy who hosted the whole thing...
They let Jar Jar Binks happen.
Hidalgo,
I don't trust them.
Pablo Hidalgo, yeah.
I don't trust them, man. They let Jar Jar Binks happen.
I don't think he was involved quite back then.
Yes, he was part of it.
I mean, he wasn't like a story develover.
So they talk about like how the story got developed. This actually, the lead of ILM and at Lucasfilm was the guy. This is the guy who developed Photoshop. What? He is going to be credited as the original idea for Star Wars anthologies Rogue One.
Wow.
The guy who developed Photoshop. So this is definitely cool. We got to see him. He got
co-developed Photoshop.
Yes, with his brother. So we got to see that, like what the creative process behind it was. And then, I guess backtrack a little bit. At the very beginning, this was supposed to be a conversation with Josh Trank and Gareth Edwards.
The directors of the only 2 talked about anthology films so far.
Yes. The very beginning of the before they even started, they said Josh Trank could not be here. He's not feeling well. He's sick. He will not be making this was like as the name Josh Trank was on the screen
to the internet. This was scandalous.
Yes. At the same time,
Josh Trank here?
At the same time, the Fantastic Four trailer leaked.
Oh,
so there was something.
I trust. I mean, I haven't
seen that trailer.
I want to believe people.
You don't need to watch it.
Yeah. Gareth Edwards comes out. Man, was this like the only thing you guys? I mean, from this Disney thing, I mentioned that Rogue One. I'm excited about it. I did not care for Godzilla. I thought it was a good movie. It was solid. That's really the only thing that I got. Gareth Edwards.
I just remembered that.
And Gareth Edwards, right?
British
so I was like, all right, well, we'll see what this guy.
Monsters.
But this guy is such a cool guy. Like he seems like the guy, just like one of you guys got a Star Wars movie, and this guy's like, holy crap, I'm making a Star Wars movie. I'm a true Star Wars fan. Yeah. And this was something that he
had to prove to us.
Yeah, Drew. How did he prove it?
He told us on his 30th birthday. He went to Tunisia to visit the Tatooine sets that are still there.
What?
And he showed us pictures of his visit and taking pictures like he spent the night on the farm, and he even brought a blue food coloring so that he could put it in some milk and drink
blue milk when he woke up
in the dining area from the farm. And he had a picture of it. It was really cool.
So that's how he showed.
So he's a definite Star Wars geek
before the movies. So that was so cool.
And he had to conduct meetings with Kathleen Kennedy in secret while he was still filming Godzilla. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So definitely one of the coolest things. Gareth Edwards, I think the franchise is in the right hands with him. And then one of the coolest things was they showed us a concept footage trailer
Hidalgo, says to him, "So what footage did you bring?" And everyone's like, "What are you talking about footage?" I was thinking to myself, he accidentally used the word footage. It was like there's nothing. This was the biggest surprise for nobody saw it coming that they would have any. I mean, it's obviously not footage because they haven't started shooting the film yet, but it was a big deal. We were all blown away.
So we see in this revealed footage, which it's leaked online as somebody we probably know who took the video. The dude was like the
jerk off diagonally in front of
it was terrible.
I was like, he didn't promise Because they made us promise out loud at the beginning. Say, I promise.
He was a Botham
not to
spy.
record. He was a spy.
He was the spy.
He was a Botham.
So they showed some kind of forest, like flyover. There's some birds that definitely look exotic.
Yeah.
Then we see
Obi-Wan's voiceover. A clip from Obi-Wan from
A New Hope.
A New Hope, explaining to Luke about how the Jedis were the guardians of peace, and justice in the galaxy.
That's right. And then we see a TIE fighter fly by.
Old and new.
And then Obi-Wan says, until the dark, before the dark times, before the Empire.
I don't know anything. I'm sorry. Damn it.
And then we see in the background the Death Star in the background of this planet. So the premise of this movie,
Rogue One, to answer your question, is set between episodes 3 and 4.
Oh.
Yes.
But closer to 4.
Closer to 4.
Closer to 4.
So it's a fully functioning battle station.
This is
damn it. That's the premise.
This is the movie following a rebellion or a rebel soldier, as the mission is to recover or to go get the plans for the Death Star. Like, this is the premise of the movie.
And supposedly, according to Gareth Edwards, what's the actress's name that's cast in this movie?
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones dropped everything to be in this movie because apparently she's a huge fan.
What else was she doing?
Spider-Man 3.
She just won an Oscar, though.
Yeah.
She could do anything she wanted.
Yes.
Yeah, she could follow it up with. I can't.
So, I mean, that could be them just talking up, their cast.
But that's what it is.
But,
And they said
Gareth Edwards seems like a trustworthy guy.
The next reveal, they said, we'll have some more stuff, in the next coming months and
what I like about what Gareth Edwards pointed out after we saw the footage, like the reason they use Obi-Wan's dialogue there, talking about the Jedi, was this movie is going to be
no Jedi,
at least mostly no Jedi. This is all about normal people because the Jedi are all but extinct, as according to Obi-Wan in A New Hope.
Yeah.
So this is
Vader.
people having to step up after they're used to being protected by Jedi for centuries, millennia, I don't know, whatever. So, this is them having to step up, and fight the Empire now that the Jedi are not around.
No. I'm sorry.
They're rebels.
I guarantee you'll see Darth Vader in this movie.
You think so?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think he is the face of Star Wars.
I didn't expect Obi-Wan to be in it.
I hope
Leia.
Like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I think this is going to be...
Ewan McGregor could play him. Obviously, Alec Guinness can't do it.
This is going to be some of the opportunity where maybe some of the cast from Rebels get to be...
that too, yeah.
Have their
the dude with the slingshot lightsaber?
You need to rewatch that because it gets better.
I think
gets better.
That this is like very much conjecture on my part, and I really just think it would be cool. But I think it would be cool if Felicity Jones' character is never referred to by name throughout the movie, and maybe just called Rogue One or whatever, her code name. And in the end, you find out she's Princess Leia.
Yes, that's going to be the
rebel soldier leading a group. She's the one who gets the plans anyway,
Yes.
So. But I think that would be cool. And
I like that a lot.
I don't like speculating because it kind of is.
But this is the fun thing,
and I think that's
cool.
Very unlikely, but I think it would be cool.
That's way cooler than what they're actually going to do.
That could be it, though. I mean, each one of these anthology films are going to be focused.
She's the right build, right? Hair color.
Right person.
You're spot on.
Wow.
So those were some of the highlights.
Nerdy XP exclusive.
Let's stop patting ourselves on the back for all our crazy shaming calls.
We hit it.
What is Lupita Longo going to be? She wasn't in it.
No reveals of who Lupita Nyong'o is. No reveal of who Andy Serkis is going to be. No reveal of who Adam Driver is going to be. No reveal.
Donald Gleason.
He's
like the biggest mystery to me. Like who
the hell is Donald Gleason?
He was one of the Weasley brothers.
He was in the original cast photo. Like he was one of the first cast members announced, and he was in that script reading.
Yes.
So, but nobody's even like talking about him at all. It's like, who the hell is he? He would be a good young Skywalker, like Luke's son.
So at the end, I guess Sunday, that was that, and then the next Star Wars celebration was announced to be in London.
After that, I think the only thing we did was the closing ceremony, where they announced the next location
for next year,
which is 2016, London, England.
How is that received by, quite frankly, what I'm assuming is mostly Americans?
A lot of people were hoping that it was going to be Orlando, but the whole Star Wars filming and production is going to be heavy on and they use Pinewood Studios in London.
Right.
Why don't they use the Atlanta one?
Well, what they're thinking that it's going to happen is every 2 years it's coming back to the States, and then the odd year
back and forth.
Yeah, then the odd year they'll do it somewhere in. I think that's fair. I think it was very well received.
They're playing Jaguars.
It was very awkwardly announced though. They got like some newly promoted guy in Lucasfilm to come up and say, and he said like London, and like nothing came on the screen, and everyone was quiet, and we were all like. I feel like he said that too soon.
Yeah,
and he did. Like it came up with a screen, but like a minute later, it was awkward.
Yes. Yeah. So London is the next one.
Are you guys going to London?
No. We haven't said it.
What? But it's Rogue One. You don't care?
Yeah. I think we'll see it. The fact that it's simulcasted.
Yeah. I mean, when we bought our tickets for Anaheim, we didn't know it was going to be simulcasted on the web.
That was only
but obviously I think they're going to do one exclusive.
You wouldn't have cried sitting on your couch watching it?
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't have.
I didn't know I was going to cry sitting there in the auditorium either, you know?
People cried on their couch.
Matthew McConaughey cried.
All right. Well, thank you out there for listening to this marathon episode. If you enjoyed this, please like this episode if you're catching on YouTube or iTunes. If you want to hear more from us, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Chris Peterson. I'm at NerdyXP. You can follow Drew
at World is Square, spelled backwards.
And you can also catch Drew on his... Did your podcast ever promote us?
Not yet, no.
Nope. Okay, catch Drew anywhere else.
Straight chilling.
You can catch Edgar.
I tweet a lot about basketball now.
Why?
I don't know.
When did that happen?
I just retweet it because I like play out basketball.
Okay.
So I tweet a little bit about movies, but you can follow me at Edgar ALVRC86. So Edgar Alvarez.
This isn't a pop quiz. You should know the answer to this.
I'm going for the Spurs. That's my favorite team.
Okay.
In the playoffs, the Spurs.
I watched the Magic cream the Spurs in Orlando.
That was great. The Magic didn't make the playoffs
6 years ago.
The Magic sucked, Drew. I'm sorry.
Magic having Rollins and Shaq.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard was there back then.
Okay.
You can follow Guillermo.
That guy in line. And usually you can just see me shamelessly plug random tweets at random celebrities. And every now and then they either favorite it or tweet back, which has been pretty cool.
And how's the movie mashup looking?
The matchup, the final, it's going to be the Imperial March versus the Pokemon theme.
Ooh, that's so tough.
No, it's not. Imperial March is going to sweep.
I think unanimous.
I
Unanimous.
was so surprised.
I will vote for Pokemon.
I mean, it was Pokemon against Ghostbusters, and
I'm not gonna lie, I voted for Pokemon. I'm not
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I voted for Pokemon too.
Yeah.
early on, I think we got the wrong Star Wars theme there.
I agree.
I think Ghostbusters should have been there in that final, but that's what what our listeners voted for. So definitely encourage you guys to get your most favorite one out there, and let's see who we can crown as
Vote for Pokemon.
Vote for Pokemon.
Vote for Pokemon. I want you to be the very best.
Like no one ever was.
Yeah, that's
well, thank you, Guillermo.
You got it.
Thank you, Drew.
No problem.
Thank you, Edgar.
You're welcome.
And thank you out there for listening. I hope you'd enjoyed this week's episode, that we were able to help you with your movie IQ. Level up, friends.